talk about map projections, correct?
Yep.
So we talked about how geographers have to lie. They have to stretch, they have to shrink, they have to cut in order to make a map, because the world is round and maps are flat. Yesterday too, we did talk about what the Mercator projection does to Greenland and Africa. Right, Africa gets shortchanged. The actual size of Greenland is right there. That's the way it looks on some maps, though. It looks super huge. So we want to be careful. And I'll tell you this. Any map that shrinks Africa, you can almost bet it wasn't an African that made that map. No one wants to be tiny when they're actually large. Okay? Like, it's just the fact of the matter. So here's what we're doing today. Whoa, you're just starting the next, make a line going across from where you picked up yesterday?
Just a straight
you left
line
off?
underneath direction.
And there is your topic.
So now we need to talk about the map maker's point of view. Now we said that in order to get the map correct, there has to be some distortions. Well, which distortion is used depends on the map maker's point of view. We have political and cultural context, who commissioned the map. What that means is who asked for the map to be made, who is paying for the map to be made, and what is the purpose of that map. Some maps need to be used by sailors and they need straight lines to and from places. And who is the intended audience?
I mean, so when you go on the red line and you're looking at that map of all the stops, the audience is a person riding the red line. You know, the audience is not someone in New York City. The audience matters. So whoever the map maker is making the map for definitely matters. Maps in the United States look much different than maps in Japan. I mean, for obvious reasons. We speak different languages, we have a different worldview, live in a different part of the world. If a map, I don't know, highlights natural resources, that's going to look different than a map that highlights the borders and capitals. It's going to be colored different. It's going to be labeled different. It may even be projected different. And we know this. We know people are biased. We know they like certain things. They don't like certain things. And if a map maker is making a map, he's a human being. She's a human being. She may make a map that kind of puts in a negative light things she doesn't like. Maybe in a positive light things that she likes. I'm going to show you examples of this. A map is not just a map. Every map's a lie. It's just a matter of what kind of lie is it. What kind of lie is it? And how much truth is in there. There will be a quiz question on this. As I'm looking through the quiz, as long as you have the notes taken and you've been listening, I think you're going to do really well. Okay? I think you're going to do really well. Because I just made the quiz yesterday. Are we Gucci on this or no? Gucci Mane is what we are. I'm trying to be more low-key today. Because yesterday I was a little Thor. But today, I'm going to be a little low-key. I'm going to be a little more calm. Okay. All right. Take a look at this map. We got to figure out who made this map. Now I circled who made it, which kind of blows it. But how do we know that an American made this map? Well, let's just look at it. It's in English, which is true. That's great. But America's on top. America, number one. America is in the middle. because America's important. Look at what they have done to Asia.
What's up with Asia?
They just sliced Asia in half like Asia don't even matter. Like Asia don't even matter. Look what they did to Asia. They just cut her right up. Half of hers on one side, half of hers on the other. Like America's so important that Asia just gets sliced in two like it doesn't count. That's a very sad map, and I have seen this map hanging up in some of your teachers' classrooms. I've seen it. And you got to ask them, why would you put a map like that up? What about Asia? Okay, I got to be more low-key. Let me calm down. Here's another example from your textbook. In the Middle East, there is a country named Israel. If you are a Christian or a Muslim, or excuse me, if you are a Christian or a Jew, usually you're in agreement with the idea that it should be called Israel. Yeah, but if you're a Muslim and you were making a map, you would probably call this Palestine. Because there's a big debate over there as to who should have that land. Should it be the Israelis? Should it be the Palestinians? This map maker in your book calls it Israel. There's no mention of Palestine on there. So I'm going to guess that the geographer who worked on this book, they're probably what? Muslim? Or they're a Christian or a Jew? They're either probably a Christian or a Jew. That's what I would say. You can tell that by what they named that country. That's called point of view. Okay, and it's the bias of the map maker. Does it mean the map is wrong? No. But you can tell who made the map. A Muslim map maker did not make this map. All right, here's the last one. Who might have made this map here? Well, you always want to look at what's in the center, and then you'll kind of figure out maybe who made the map. You're seeing Asia not cut in two. It's not. And America's not in the middle. But you're kind of noticing what's in the middle here. Yeah, the Pacific Ocean's kind of in the middle with a focus on Asia, right? So if I'm just a betting person here, I'm going to say that this map comes out of Asia, all right? Because Asia's in the middle, highlights the Pacific Ocean. Africa's kind of over here. America's kind of off to this side. Yeah, so you can kind of tell who made the map by how it looks, by what it focuses on, and I think here's the last one. I'm supposed to have some music to go along with this, but I'm being more low-key today. Not as much Thor. Who might have made this map? This could be on the quiz. So you're saying it's upside down. And I'm saying it's not upside down, because what is upside down anyway? Gosh darn it. The world is just a floating ball of gas and rock and water. The world is round. Now, what is up and what is down? You know this is just flying around the sun. What's up and what's down? There's no up and down. We're the ones who made that stuff up. That north is up and south is down. And why would we say north is up? You know the people who decided that? They're right here. Yeah, they're all the way on the top, north, so they go north is up. Don't you want to be on top? Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team is really here. All right. Yeah, no one wants to be on the bottom. You want to be on the top. And so, yeah, those people are the ones who made that idea up. This map actually comes out of Australia. Do you notice how it puts Australia in the middle?
And on the top.
And on top. Yeah, if you're Australia, you don't want to be the land down under. You want to be right on top. Australia could be on top. See how that works? So on the quiz, if you see this, Australia maybe made this map because they're in the center and they're on top. Ooh. Here's your next topic. Just write it down.
So we are going to be talking about human and environmental patterns. Basically, this is the information that geographers use. They use maps, graphs, charts, tables, case studies, historical sources. So basically anything that could help them gather information about a place, they use to establish patterns. So what type of food do people in a particular area grow? What's the life expectancy in a particular area? And in order to do that, you have to have information. And they gather that and put that in charts and graphs and tables and things like that.
Yeah, so if you had a map, I don't know, maybe a map, maybe geographers or cartographers might look at World War I soldiers who wrote home letters, like letters to home. And maybe they recorded how many letters each soldier wrote to their girlfriend or their wife. And then they averaged them out per country. And any country that had more than 3 letters to a girlfriend as an average might get the color pink. In any country where the soldiers averaged 2.5 letters to a girlfriend might get orange. And a country that averaged 2 might get red. So they'll take information and then use it to make maps. They also use other maps to make maps. Yeah. Other maps to make maps. That can happen. Map makers do something too in order to catch people who cheat and copy off their own map. It's called a hidden town, or it's called a paper town. Every map maker will put a dummy city on a map that doesn't exist. It's called a paper town. It only exists on the paper. And if someone is caught copying their map, they'll put that paper town on there. And then you'll know they cheated. Yeah, it's called paper town. You can look it up, you can Google it. Yeah, like Rand McNally and any of the big map making companies, they'll put a fake city on a map. That way if you tried to copy their map and use it, they could see it was their map because they'll know the fake town they put on it. That you would never know didn't exist.
So they make them change it.
They make what?
They make them change it.
No, they'll keep it on there, for the map. They don't make them change it. You wouldn't know what it was because it's usually a town in the middle of nowhere that doesn't exist that you would never question.
So like the company doesn't sue them with like.
Oh yeah, the company would then sue them for using the map without their permission. Yeah, it's called paper town. Yeah, all map companies do that. I think on the quiz I asked you this. Which of these do geographers not use to gather information? And I'll give you 4. 3 of them are right, and then you pick the one that's not. Okay? That's what's on the quiz. Gucci on this or no?
No.
Or no? Finish it off.
Oh, no.
I mean, do you have to write out the word primary? No. PRI dot. Secondary, you don't got to write it out. SEC dot. Same thing. You know what it means. You got to write out the word pattern. No. PTTRN. Pattern. Are we Gucci on this or no? No.
No.
I'm trying to be low key today. Just use Mr. Blahankas. Okay, we don't have to call
Wait,
it.
why you doing? I like the real. Can I?
You like the real me?
Can I take a
Do you
picture
know what
of
the
it?
real me is?
Yeah, funny.
No. You know I'm actually like very shy. And I'm an introvert. I don't like going to parties. But for this job, I gotta be somebody else. Like the Batman, I'm gonna be whatever this city needs. I'll be the kind of hero the city needs. Are we good or no? I'm supposed to be low key today, not Thor. Is this the last one? Second to last one. Global positioning systems. Ooh, you might know what that is. Also known as GPS. You have it on your phone. Yeah, when you hit that little bullseye in your map application on your phone, and then the blue dot shows up, that's your GPS position. How does your phone find that? Well, your phone is communicating with satellites that are in orbit around the Earth. Yeah, it's communicating. And then those satellites pick up your location and they find the latitude and longitude of where you're at. They pinpoint your location. That's why that blue dot will move on the map when you move. This is also used in the field of altered reality. What is that, altered reality, Mrs. Tommy?
That would be virtual reality. It's just another way of saying virtual reality.
And we're seeing more and more of that. I don't think it's become what everybody thought it would be. Like when I was your age, it was like, oh, people won't even go out of the house. They'll just put on goggles. No, we're not there yet. People still go out of the house. But yeah, altered reality, it's used with that. And GPS can be stored, analyzed, and displayed using GIS. So there are two things you got to know. We're going to talk about GIS next. There's GPS, which you're probably familiar with. Global Positioning Systems. But what is GIS?
So GIS is Geographic Information Systems.
We'll talk about that next. You don't have to write that down now. Like, what do you do with all that GPS information? So you pull all this information from GPS, from historical sources, from charts, and then how do you use that information? How do geographers use the information? Is it not in there? I think I printed 4 or 5 of each one. Maybe I didn't put this one today.
Everything
We're almost there. We got one more and we're done. Finito!
Oh no.
Yeah, finito. We're gonna bounce. What time are we out here?
55.
Not soon enough. Good.
5 more minutes.
Very good. You guys are gonna have some. I would never give anyone free time in my class. Never. Can't let that information leak. Are we Gucci on this or no? Okay, we're good? No, finish it up. Quick. Because we got to figure out what GIS is. Because there is a question on the quiz about it. We just looked at it this morning. I don't know, Mrs. Tomiak. Those are all the papers I
I
had.
could have sworn I saw it in the last period.
This is the last one, and I can always put this back up. If you're lacking a bullet point or two here, I'll come back to it. Because you're going to have 5 minutes at the end of the period where you're doing an exit slip. All right. Your next topic is Geographic Information Systems. Last one of the day.
So with Geographic Information Systems, this is how they get when you see a layered map. It's computer-based mapping that organizes all of that data that you saw from the last slide that it gets for maps, charts, graphs, tables, other maps. And it layers the information and it can then show you population density, which means how many people are kind of squished together in one area, how they use the land, and different transportation routes. So you need the computer-based mapping to help you do this.
If you've ever used Google Maps or Google Earth, you've kind of used this, something like this before. So you search in your area restaurants. And then what pops up on the map? All these dots with restaurants.
Red dot.
Okay, red dots. That's kind of like this. So geographers will start with just a map of the real world, maybe just like a satellite image, and then you can layer it with the restaurants, and then you can layer it with where people live, and then you can layer it with streets, and then you can layer it with where the pipes are under the ground. You'll get these layers of information that can be put into maps. We call this geographic information systems. Geographers are going to use this to make the maps that you're going to see this year. And you know, you can get paid for doing this kind of stuff. It's a field unto itself. You know, Park Forest wants to, I don't know, put a movie theater in. You know, they'll have to pay people to come in and look at a map of the area, look at where you're going to put pipes and electricity, and where the people live, and like how that would affect the theater and those people who live there. Yeah, I mean, so this sort of a thing, if you're good at like sorting through information, that's all part of, you know, a field you could be in, where you use geography. Certainly surveyors and architects use geography, city planners. I mean, this is something that you gotta like kind of know how to do if you're gonna be working for government. You're gonna be building things. All right, so let me tell you what's happening tomorrow when you finish this here. We kind of came up with a new plan. Quiz has been moved to Friday. Peace out.